Raw review for the June 30th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling.
A little bit of an early Raw tonight. And let me tell you, that early start time, fantastic. WWE, if you want to do this in the future, go right ahead.
Yeah, it really helps us when we record right afterward. And thank you guys for showing up to the live stream. It was a lot of fun. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this review. We would appreciate the hell out of it. But let's get right into it. Miss Rhea Ripley, she starts the show. This is my brutality. And she gets about 5 words out. She says, now that Raquel and the Judgment Day is behind me, what's next for me? Well, I'm looking forward to Evolution. And that's when Io Sky's music hit. We're getting right to it. And Io comes out. She says, you can't have Evolution without Io Sky, and you can't say that you're on top when you don't have the title that I'm currently holding. So guess what? You're not on top because I am the champion. And guess what? Adam Pearce gave me the right to choose my opponent to face at Evolution. And I want to face the best, and the best is named Rhea Ripley. And when that happens, Rhea looks at her and she says, if that's what you want, Io, just know that whatever happens at Evolution, that's what you wanted. Bada bing, bada boom. So at Evolution, we have ourselves Rhea Ripley taking on Io Sky for the World Championship. And it's been a while since Rhea's been in the champion scene. I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to work. I'm popping this.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this for the in-match quality, especially. The in-match between the two is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be 5 stars. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see Io actually come out and challenge somebody. It's nice to see Io actually kind of do something. We haven't really seen that a lot lately. I was really kind of hoping for an Asuka Io at SummerSlam potentially. So with this happening at Evolution, that kind of puts that in danger a little bit. But it is Rhea Ripley. It is Io Sky. It's 2 of the best in the world. And when you get them in the ring together, it is phenomenal stuff. So you kind of got to pop it.
Yeah, I mean, the immediate reaction from a lot of people is going to be, oh, Rhea's in the title scene again, and I understand it. But now that we know that like Liv had such a big role in what was supposed to be an Io storyline and Rhea's stuff going on, it's like, well, they kind of have to pivot, but still give us something that we all really want to see. Io versus Rhea is going to cook. It's going to be a phenomenal match. They have a bunch of history here where you can just write in that storyline, continue that, and now we get to sit here and say whether or not Rhea Ripley should finally overcome Io and get her title back and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great match at Evolution.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see with SummerSlam just a few weeks out after Evolution, how they really kind of navigate that.
Yeah.
And do they just have this happen and Rhea maybe gets the win, and then do they just run it back at SummerSlam? That could be an easy solution.
And I'm with you. I would like Asuka to get mixed up in there at some point because I do want to see Asuka versus Io properly for a title. So, we got time. Who knows?
I mean, but you have that, and then just a few months after that, you do have the Perth for Crown Jewel. So Rhea's going to be in the title scene or walking in with the title there.
Yeah,
assume,
good point.
Right? So there's a little bit of things kind of coming down the pipeline that it's like, dang, I really thought we would get Asuka Io, but this is good, exciting stuff.
It'll be good. We go backstage. Dom is backstage, and he's got the title. He's holding on to it. And AJ approaches him, and Dom pulls out a piece of paper real quick and opens it up, and he says, I got a doctor note, AJ. You can't touch me. In fact, Adam Pearce already looked at my doctor note and made sure it was real. And if you touch me, Adam Pearce said, you will never get a shot at my Intercontinental title. And that's when AJ pulls out the glasses, big old glasses on his face, and he looks at him and he says, yep, this is legit right here. It says you're a punk ass. And he walks away and he's pissed, and he says that one day he is, or very soon, whenever Dom is cleared, he's coming for that title. So we are still doing Dom AJ, but Dom does have a rib injury in real life. So
yeah, I need whatever doctor that has that to write me one.
Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. Raw Tag Team Championship. Speaking of New Day or Judgment Day and all of them, we got New Day versus Judgment Day for the tag team championships. And we have been very critical about the Raw tag team division in the past, especially those titles. But this match slapped. This was really good stuff, man. JD would get beat up a lot right at the beginning. They even had one where they like hung him up on the top rope. And then Xavier Woods jumped off the top and like stomped him in the back. And then they did like a tag team move where they hung him up on the bottom rope and stomped him onto the apron. It's like, dear Lord, JD's getting his ass whooped all day here. But it was absolutely great, honestly. JD would do an apron moonsault to the outside, and that would kind of get Judgment Day hot. They would tag in Finn Balor, and no one saw it, or Xavier Woods didn't see it, right? It was in the ring, and that's when Finn Balor would be able to try to go for a coup de grace, but Xavier Woods moves and he ends up hitting JD, and we're like, okay, same old Judgment Day stuff. This stuff is bad. But then it turned into like super Finn Balor, like Finn that we haven't seen in years.
He's invincible.
He was invincible, as you said on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was kicking out of everything. The New Day rolled him up after this mistake, which normally feels like, oh, you know, a mistake into a roll up, that's 100%. No, he kicks out of that. New Day hit their like finishing move on him, kicked out of that. There was a point where they were getting all tangled up and the ref was looking away, and Xavier Woods hit him in the back with a title belt, kicked out of that pin. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it. I haven't seen this Finn Balor in years.
Well, I mean, it depends who it is. If some of this happens to somebody else, you're like, oh, what the hell? This guy's just going to be...
Yeah.
I mean, but he was kicking out of everything.
Yeah, eventually all hell though is breaking loose, and Finn hits like a sling blade on the outside of Kofi Kingston, and that leaves Xavier Woods in the ring. JD hits a top rope moonsault, followed by a Finn Balor coup de grace. 1, 2, 3. Judgment Day wins the tag team championships. They defeat New Day, and at the end, it's Judgment Day. It's JD, Finn, and Dom posing with their championship belts. Judgment Day has all the gold once again, and I'm happy for them. I thought this was great. Popping all of it.
Yeah, I want to pop this. I don't know what the initial plan was for the Judgment Day and New Day and these things. I don't even know if the live injury happens if we get this, honestly. I don't know. Who knows, right? But the pivot that they did with this to give Finn and JD the tag titles, everybody in Judgment Day now has gold. Now that Liv's gone, everybody is draped in gold. You kind of listen to Finn and you win. Like I said, he was invincible tonight. Absolutely insane what he did, what he kind of kicked out of. He has really kind of established himself as that leader now that Liv is gone, and that's very apparent on screen. So you got to pop this. They're really planting the seeds for all this stuff.
There were two main takeaways from this for me. It was like the tag team on Raw, the division there felt relevant for 10 minutes. It was absolutely great. I was excited to watch a Raw tag team match. Yes. And then my second takeaway is like, please continue giving me this Finn Balor. Don't make him look like an idiot. Make him kick out of stuff. Make him look very tough. Make him be a competent champion leading this team. You can still lean into the heel aspects because he is a heel right now. That's fine. But like, Finn Balor looking great on TV. It's just great. I was so excited for him. The crowd was popping him like crazy in the celebration afterward with the pyro. Everybody going nuts. I was like, that is what the Judgment Day needs to be, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see you talk about him being a heel, how they kind of handle that.
Yeah.
Because the crowd tonight was overwhelmingly supporting Finn and JD. Now, obviously, I know New Day is like the worst of two evils, maybe, of the two, right? They're both heels. Maybe New Day is just super mega heel, and people don't like that. But the crowd was really behind Finn and JD tonight. So maybe they do kind of pivot a little bit, and maybe they kind of have some more face tendencies. I don't know how they're going to navigate that. I don't know if it's just a one-off tonight, but interesting to know.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Maybe that was the start of their like maybe face turn, because pairing them against New Day, it was obvious that the crowd was on one team's side here. Anyway, we'll go backstage. It was Bayley with Jackie Redmond, and Jackie was sitting there like, are you still focused on the IC title after Lyra pretty much screwed you last week? And Bayley was like, yes, that is part of my plan, and Lyra needs to get out of my business. And Lyra overheard that as she was on her way to apparently apologize to Bayley. And then Lyra gets all mad. She's like, look, you inserted yourself back into this without texting me or calling me or anything. I have unfinished business with Becky. And then Bayley's like, well, I've had 10 years of unfinished business with Becky. I don't like this. And they start screaming at each other. Rah, rah, rah. Adam Pearce steps in. He says, guess what? How about we just make this a match tonight? Number one contender match for the IC title. So we get that later on. And I was happy.
It's official.
It's official. Adam Pearce. And then we get a 20-minute Goldberg package.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 20 minutes, but
it felt that long.
It was long.
And I'm dropping it.
People say longer than the matches. I think that's probably pretty accurate. I mean, it was at least 4 to 5 minutes.
I'm throwing a drop at it. That's way too long, man. I get that there's a lot of new people watching wrestling, and so you need to establish Goldberg in that way. But man, these like 5-minute long promo packages followed by a commercial break, it's like, that irks me, man. Mm-hmm. And then we go to Chad Gable, who's unfortunately hurt. He's hurt because his arm got snapped in the sacrifice by Penta last week. And you see Ludwig Kaiser lurking in the background.
Which I will bring it up later, but when Penta does the sacrifice outside of the ring, it hurts people's shoulders, but in the ring it doesn't. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. But yes, Ludwig is lurking in the background.
We'll skip to it then, because this is earlier in the night. We have Chad Gable admitting that he's hurt. Adam Pearce even does this thing where he walks up to Chad and he's like, so I guess that means we're not going to be seeing our El Grande Americano either, though. And Chad's like, I don't know. He's the greatest luchador of all time. He has a busy schedule. What would I know? And so we come back later in the night, and Ivy Nile is talking about her future plans at Evolution that we'll talk about when El Grande Americano shows up. He's gotten a little taller, maybe a little leaner, but he looks damn good since the last time we've seen him.
The camera.
It was a camera.
It was a camera.
Everybody's wrong. Chad Gable is hurt. He was not there, so it's official. El Grande is not Chad Gable.
Mm-mm. No, he's not. And this kind of proves it to everybody that they are two completely separate, completely different people.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. American Made seemed kind of shocked as well. So I guess maybe Chad Gable didn't tell American Made to kind of hang out with El Grande a little bit, keep El Grande safe while Chad is away. So it'll be interesting to see El Grande again. We haven't seen him since Money in the Bank. So really excited to see him back in the ring again. Really kind of have him put on a show next time we see him. Hopefully it's soon.
Yeah, and if you look behind American Made throughout the last couple weeks, there's Ludwig lurking in the background. Maybe El Grande goes after Ludwig Kaiser for lurking around the shadows. That would be a good little feud, but American Made needs a leader now that Chad Gable is hurt for a long time here, and it looks like El Grande will step up to the plate as he can. And having a 4-inch growth spurt in the meantime, that can only be beneficial to this team, man. It's going to be good. Anyway, we'll move it on, though. Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce are backstage now with Finn Balor and the Judgment Day, and they're talking about how they may want Raquel and Roxanne to drop their tag, or Raquel to drop her tag titles, because she doesn't have a partner. And that's when Finn says, "Whoa, Raquel's worked hard. You shouldn't rip it off her. In fact, she's got a partner right next to him. You should put it on Roxanne." And that's when Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis agree to it, but Momentito is Adam Pearce.
Yeah, Adam Pearce looked at Finn and said, Momentito. I don't know why.
Momentito. And he turned like 2 feet away to talk to Nick Aldis. They're right there. Anyway, it's official at Evolution. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez will be defending in a fatal 4-way tag team match with themselves, a SmackDown tag team, a Raw tag team, and an NXT tag team. This is going to be spectacular. I mean, just spectacular.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. You probably look at NXT. You probably have... you have Zaruka, right, for NXT. I almost forgot the name there. I almost pulled a Will. Yeah, Zaruka down in NXT, Charlotte and Alexa from SmackDown, and then you have, who did we throw out for the other one? From Raw. Yeah, the Dungeon Dolls. I don't know. It doesn't really matter for the Raw team, but Dungeon Dolls, yeah, throw them out there. Have Natalya take the pin, have Charlotte and Alexa have some, exchanges throughout the match that leads to them maybe fighting at SummerSlam, and just have Raquel and Roxanne continue to hold those tag titles.
Yeah, I'm just excited because we knew Evolution was going to be like big matches with a lot of people because you want to get as many women as possible on there. And this sounds spectacular to me. You can continue the Charlotte Alexa tag team story that's going on. Obviously, Raquel and Roxanne are working out great so far. And then you do get a tag team, probably like Zaruka from NXT getting a shot at Evolution 2.0, which would be huge. And they are going to prove that they're probably the best women's tag team that WWE has no matter what. So I think this match is going to be spectacular. And I can't wait for Evolution. It's starting to stack up nicely, man.
Yeah, they really announced a couple matches tonight for Evolution that you're like, yeah, you know what? This card is finally starting to get some matches added onto it. And they're awesome. They're fun matches. It's really cool to have a team from each brand. I really like that idea.
Love it. Speaking of really good matches, we got a good one here. The matches tonight were pretty good. Rusev versus Sheamus. This was just man meat slapping. I mean, it was crazy, man. Sheamus would go and like catch Rusev off the apron right away and like catch him while he was doing a suicide dive and turn and power slam him into it. And then Rusev would get a ton of offense throughout the match. He even like kicked out at one off of like a top rope knee drop that Sheamus put on him. So Rusev was finally being booked to look competent and strong for once since he's returned, and instead of beating up on like a Tozawa or something. But what?
Disrespectful.
I mean, what do you want me to say? Rusev would eventually, he was beating him up with huge kicks, and he would get him with the accolade submission that he does. And Sheamus would be able to pick him up, and they would fall through the ropes to the outside, where Sheamus would bro kick him on the outside, and then Rusev would get a 9 count. And that would lead them to being like on opposite sides on the apron near the ring post. And they were fighting, and Rusev went and exposed the strut of the turnbuckle. So it's the connector between the post and the actual turnbuckle. There's a bar that's metal there, and it's a strut, I guess. I mean, Shout out to Corey Graves for saying that because I had no idea what it was. But Rusev's able to pull Sheamus into it, right into his neck. And Sheamus rolls into the ring. Rusev gets one of those big old running brute kicks that he does. 1, 2, 3. Rusev gets a good win over Sheamus here. And all I'll say is they are amazing. I want to watch them fight 50 times. This was great. Popping it.
Yeah, not much to really say in terms of like the match. It was a Sheamus and Rusev match. They beat the hell out of each other. At the end of the day, the right guy got the win. Rusev needed a win like this. Props to Sheamus for giving Rusev the win here. I kind of hope it's not the only one. I kind of hope we do get more, even if you continue to say, oh, well, they're going to have the same match where they just beat the hell out of each other. I don't really care. I like seeing that stuff. So, yeah, really good match here. Rusev gets the win here by a dirty tactic. But all in all, good stuff.
Yeah, the best part here was Rusev looked competent for the first time since returning. He really looked powerful here. I loved him kicking out at 1 a couple times. That was great. And then, of course, using the strut. He's a bad guy. We're going to do bad guy things to beat up on Sheamus. Do I wish there was a title that could maybe be involved with this? Yeah, kind of. But at the end of the day, give me this match 20 times. I'll be happy. Not much more to say. Nick, this is when, speaking of Evolution 2.0, Nick and Adam Pearce, they had another announcement. We will be getting our Battle Royale at Evolution. So Evolution 2.0 Battle Royale has been confirmed. We had Ivy Nile and Stephanie Vaquet. They both announced that they were going to be in it. So can't wait for that. Gets a lot more women in the match again. I think Steph should 100% win it, but can't wait. It's going to be good.
Yeah, we kind of predicted that to be on the card some way, somehow. And you were like, well, how do they make it meaningful? And I thought, well, have them do a title shot of some sort. Well, that's what they end up getting. The winner gets to, I guess, choose, because Steph said she's coming after Rhea or Io, whoever has that title. So she's kind of already made her plans already out there. You could also potentially say maybe a Bianca. I think those are probably your two favorites, Stephanie Vaquet and Bianca. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome. You could have those two at least in the ring down to the final two, and you give me whoever. I don't really care.
Yep, you're 100% right. If Bianca's in that match, it should be Bianca and Steph. That should be the last two. Nobody else. And Stephanie should win that thing. In my opinion, I think this is a great opportunity to shoot her to the moon, especially because the title match that they win is happening in France, right? Mm-hmm. So that she's going to be huge overseas as well, I would assume. So it's just, to me, it has Stephanie Vaquer all over it. Can't wait. It's going to be good. This one we move on because Gunther's here. Gunther! Mm-hmm. And he comes out and he says he was impressed with the Goldberg video they showed earlier. It was violent and it was brutal. And it was all summed up in 3 minutes, just like his matches.
Yeah, I don't know what he was watching because I don't think that was 3 minutes.
It was 50 minutes.
It was a lot longer.
It was longer in all of his matches. He said, he used to be feared, but I am not afraid. He's a 50-year-old wannabe who's here for his last hurrah and he's using me for it. I will beat him. I could beat him in under 3 minutes if I wanted to, but my goal is to embarrass him and blow him up. I don't know what he meant by that. That sounds like a crime.
That's what he said.
He says, I will bully you. And then after Goldberg, the only question is, who's next? Seth Rollins. Yeah, does he laugh?
Yeah, he kind of said, who's next? And he's like, and then that's when the music hits.
And it's Seth Rollins' music hits. And he debuts a beautiful looking new briefcase, by the way. Uh-huh. Black and gold with a logo and the O and the money. Mm-hmm. Looks really good there. But he comes out and Gunther starts to make fun because Paul is doing what Paul does. He's holding up the briefcase and getting this look, this smile. And Gunther's like, I assume you're here to talk about how you flew all the way overseas just to achieve absolutely nothing. And Seth's like, whoa, Mr. Gunther. I was here to congratulate you. I've been saying it for 2 years. My goal was not to cash in the Money in the Bank this weekend. For 2 years, I've been saying my only purpose here, or one of my only purposes, is to make sure that CM Punk never wins a championship. And I made sure of that at Money in the Bank. But he does say that the Money in the Bank briefcase is an assault on every champion here. So he looks at it, he goes over to Goldberg and he says, so once again, congrats, Gunther. And he says, once again, congrats, champ. And that's when CM Punk runs out. And he's pissed. He doesn't have a mic or anything. Obviously not, because he got attacked at Night of Champions. And they fight. Seth Rollins spills out. He runs up into the stands. And CM Punk turns around and freaking Gunther bumps him. And so Punk shoves Gunther.
He grabs his arm like, hey, you're in my ring, basically. And spins him around, you know?
Yeah, and so he just shoves Gunther. Gunther falls. and they don't fight anymore. Punk just kind of talks some shit and walks out. And then it cuts to Seth Rollins, who's now laughing in the crowd, like on the stairs. And then you see a nice jacket behind him. It's LA Knight. Yeah.
Well, you see it for about a split second. Then he goes and hides behind that guy.
Yeah, that some random fan ruined the moment. If you're watching, you ruined the moment, sir. We couldn't see LA Knight. But LA Knight standing behind him, he starts beating the hell out of Seth Rollins. They spill into like the hallways. They go to like a bar.
Concourse area.
The concourse area.
And those concourse lines are long. No wonder they're so long because everybody's got their phone out recording the fight.
Even the bartender had her phone out and was recording. It's like, pour some drinks for these people.
Her and the food one down on the other end.
She's like, wait a second, I'll pour your $17 beer in a minute. Let me get this. But they're fighting like crazy. And then after all of this, it is announced that Seth Rollins and LA Knight will be fighting each other at Saturday Night Main Event. So looking forward to that. But this whole segment was absolutely crazy, and I loved every second of it, popping it all.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Yeah. This was probably my second favorite moment of the night. I'll say second favorite. El Grande returning was probably first for me. But yeah, this was awesome. This was great. We talked about the main event from Night of Champions, the overbook shenanigans. We got some overbook shenanigans kind of here, and it's awesome. I really like how they're doing it. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, okay, well, Punk's after Rollins, but Rollins to fight LA Knight, but then Rollins wants Gunther, but then Punk pushes Gunther. LA Knight says that he wants CM Punk on one day, but Rollins can have him the other, or Punk can have him the other 6 days. Like, I don't know what's happening. It's a lot of stuff, right? But it's awesome, and I really like that stuff. And we get a match, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight, Saturday Night Main Event. That's always good to see. That'll be fun. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I thought for sure we were going to lead into Seth LA Knight at SummerSlam. There might be bigger stuff like you just said because this is such a convoluted story with so many moving pieces. But either way, it's like LA Knight was always a big favorite for Money in the Bank. Everybody always wants more for LA Knight, wants more for LA Knight. And it's like, no, he's not around a championship right now, but he's fighting arguably the leader of the biggest story in all of wrestling, not named John Cena right now in the WWE. So like these are big matches for LA Knight. We're keeping him in big time scenarios. So I'm excited for it. And I'm looking forward to the match overall. But after the match, CM Punk is walking through, or after the segment, CM Punk is walking through the backstage. Jackie Redmond, who's everywhere tonight. Good for her. She catches him and says basically what's going on. And Punk's like, look, I kind of want revenge on everybody. I want to attack Bronson Reed. I want to attack Braun Breaker. And then that's when he walks up to LA Knight. And LA Knight's like, well, you're in the back of the line when it comes to Seth Rollins. But after this whole segment with everything. So during the segment, Gunther and Punk, they come one-on-one, face-to-face with each other, and Punk shoves him. Is there any breadcrumbs leading there? Maybe a SummerSlam match. Maybe CM Punk getting involved with Gunther in that world title.
I don't really know. And that's probably not an answer, right? When people say, I don't know, you're like, well, give me some substance here. Give me something here. I'm going to say no. I don't know what they do with CM Punk. I actually think they probably do LA Knight versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. I'm really leaning in towards the Seth Rollins cash-in at Saturday Night Main Event. And I don't know if that's really just hopeful, wishful thinking, but he's on the card with LA Knight. You could put that at the beginning. You could run Gunther Goldberg Main Event. You could have the cash-in happen there. And then you can run Gunther versus Rollins at SummerSlam again. Then you can have LA Knight and CM Punk maybe fight for like a number one contender match or something like that, right? Maybe you run a feud with them. That would be exciting. You talk about LA Knight needing some big things. Well, that would be pretty big. I'd like to also see LA Knight versus CM Punk on a mic together. I would like to see them go back and forth. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love it. I think that they should book it, and it could make a lot more sense because Seth Rollins, once again tonight, said that one of his big purposes in all of his living in the WWE is to make sure CM Punk never wins that world championship. And where would be a bigger moment to cost CM Punk than if he comes this close at SummerSlam to beating Gunther to become the world champion at SummerSlam, the first ever 2-night SummerSlam, and then you get the Seth Rollins cash in and take it away once again. So I think that would be some fun booking that could happen. But either way, when I saw Gunther and CM Punk interact tonight, I was like, yes, please, at some point. That's basically my takeaway.
Yeah. I mean, you always are on the train. There is a part-time chief hanging out around there somewhere that he may or may not show up sometime. Probably not, but he's also lurking in the shadows.
Showing up on a movie screen near you. Judgment Day. They're celebrating. Very happy. Everybody's there. And Finn and JD are presenting Roxanne with her new championship, as Nick Aldis and them said earlier. And Raquel walks in and she's like, whoa, are we really replacing Liv this quickly? Like, what's going on, guys? And Finn's like, no, we just want to make sure that you continue being champ. They're going to rip that belt off of you. If you don't defend it, this is the easiest way to do it. And Finn's like, but if you're not comfortable, we'll leave it up to a vote. So it's Finn, it's JD, it's Dom, it's Raquel. And Finn says, I'm in for it. And JD kind of hesitates, but goes, it makes sense. We want the belt on you. I vote yes. Then they go to Dom. Dom immediately says, like the good boy he is, I'll have to check with Liv. And then Finn's like, no. Basically, you got to make the decision now. And then Dom says, okay, allegedly yes. Allegedly yes. And then Raquel does agree. So they're all one happy family now. Roxanne and Raquel are champions.
They do have a good shot. They all kind of clank their titles together.
They do. Dom is giving this he's hugging his title and making like very like
he is very pouty.
Yeah, he's pouty.
He's not very happy.
Not a happy camp.
And Raquel's a little hesitant. As long as Roxanne can hold up her end of the deal, she's okay with it.
I agree. Incredible Kairi Sane promo. I'm giving it a pop. I didn't write anything down from what she said, but it was like the most like CGI'd incredible production thing ever. I don't know why, but it was awesome.
Yeah, incredible's probably an understatement. Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. Yeah, amazing's not doing it justice either. Basically, she's a former NXT champ. She's a 2-time women's tag champ. All the champions better watch out. She looks through her bedazzled telescope with the pirate that she is, and she's got the titles in her sights. So I don't know why they didn't run this
Battle Royale.
She came back.
Yeah.
They could have run this when she came back, and I've been like, yeah. But still super cool, super awesome. She is fighting Roxanne soon.
Yeah.
That
was say she was calling out Kairi or something. So.
Yeah, because she's going to avenge the person that hurt Liv, is what she said. So we get that match, hopefully next week on Raw.
Another match that we got, Lyra, Valkyria taking on Bayley, and these two were absolutely pissed at each other. And this was very much like a women's equivalent of what the Sheamus Rusev match was. They just beat the hell out of each other. Like, I mean, just were killing each other in that ring, and it was awesome. I mean, they did the whole we have bad blood and we're pissed at each other right now.
Like Taylor Swift.
Yep, like that. Bayley would like do she would like catapult Lyra into the corner and then put her in a Boston Crab. And Lyra, the rest of the match, did kind of sell like a lower back, but also like a neck injury. So she was selling.
She also got thrown into the turnbuckle a couple times really hard.
Yeah, she was selling.
So yeah,
selling.
So, I mean, she might have. I don't know if selling, but she also might have just been a little hurt. I mean,
they also did this really cool spot where Bayley superplexed Lyra off the top rope, and then right when they hit the ground, they both tried to roll each other up at one time, and it ended being a double pin. 1, 2, ooh. They both kick out, but that I had never seen anything like that.
Didn't check the shoulders though.
Yeah,
Lyra's shoulder was up.
She was.
Just saying.
But eventually, we get to the point where most Lyra matches kind of go right now with this whole Intercontinental stuff. Roll-ups. They were just bumping each other and rolling each other up at the end of the match, trying to get the best of one another. And they got to this point where kind of Bayley basically did one of those things where she was pinning Lyra, but it would have needed a bridge in order for her to not have her shoulder on the mat. So Lyra's shoulders were on the mat and Bayley's. Lyra's technically on top of Bayley, but Bayley's looking at it as if she's Bridget pinning Lyra. It's a complicated situation, but all 4 elbows or shoulders are on the mat. 1, 2, 3, boom. So they end in a draw. Jessica Carr makes a call. All 4 shoulders are on the match. Nobody wins this. It's a draw. And so they immediately start fighting each other even more. And they spill the outside. They spill into the timekeepers area. They spill to the crowd. They go on top of a box, but then all the refs in the world are out there to split them all up. So that's what we got. So Lyra and Bayley, they have a match. It ends in a draw, so we don't really know who the number 1 contender is, but we all know it's leading to the triple threat match, and now we 100% have Bayley and Lyra not on the same page. They hate each other. Becky hates them. We're going into Evolution hot. Love it. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. This is kind of a perfect way that they did this to get to the triple threat. I really like the way they did that. You even have Jessica Carr thrown in there, which some people give her some crap because she always likes to check the shoulders a little bit. And now she, I'm talking about us. So that's always been the shtick a little bit. She didn't do that here. She counted all 4 shoulders down. So it was interesting, a good way halfway through the match. I was like, oh, what if they did do that? That'd be kind of cool, exciting, right? Sign me up. Awesome. They hate each other. Like you said, everybody hates each other. They've done a really good job at building this triple threat feud. You also have Bayley trying to be like, well, I'm just looking out for me. So she's like kind of the baby face, but she's also kind of like, why would you not return Lyra's call? So then you have Lyra being the pissed off baby face. Becky or Bayley doesn't know what she did wrong. And then Becky's just the badass heel. I love Becky Lynch's stuff. So perfect stuff here. Good stuff. The pull apart fight
Yeah.
thing after, I don't.
It was dumb.
Yeah, I'll probably give that a down. We'll give that a down.
I'll piggyback. It was such a dud to how it was all going.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they just get pulled apart.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Man, no big move, no nothing. Oh, well.
Yeah, I'm overall very, very, very excited about this. We knew it was coming, but we didn't know how we were going to get there and really like how we were going to make Bayley and Lyra have enough steam against each other to agree to be in like a hated feud triple threat match. But now we're there and I completely agree with it. It's like Lyra's like, I have unfinished business. And Bayley's like, I have 10 years of unfinished business. Like, we all have unfinished business. I want my business settled before yours. And then it's just a clash. And now we hate each other. And now we're spilling out into crowds and just the good old fashioned WWE friendship breaking in front of everybody. And I can't wait for the triple threat match. I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's not officially announced, but we're getting it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Then it was main event time. It was Sami Zayn. Earlier in the night, Sami Zayn got attacked by Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross jumped him out of nowhere and hit him with a pole right in the ribs. Yeah. Owie. Lead pipe, whatever. Wow. And we're going into the final match, and Sami goes out there, and he does have his ribs all patched up. We'll get to that in a minute, though.
Yeah, you wouldn't have known it.
The cooler part, though, is before the match, Paul Heyman is talking to Bronson Reed in Gorilla, and he's got the Money in the Bank, and Bronson Reed even says, where's the, what do you call him? The
Visionary.
The Visionary. Where's the Visionary? And Paul Heyman says, he's working on Plan B. Don't know what that is.
On a private jet. Very Roman Reigns, like he's on a private jet. He's already going Plan
yeah,
B.
We are doing the Roman Reigns shtick.
And Paul had his phone case, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're doing the Roman Reigns shtick, just kind of period, because he even like talks on the phone during the match. But Bronson Reed asks what's Plan B, and that's when Braun Breaker grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase, or he doesn't grab it, but he puts his hand on it, and he says, Plan B is me killing everybody, basically. And Paul Heyman's like, that's going to come, but chill out. So we are getting some friction there, it looks like. But this match happens. It's Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn and Penta. Hurt Sami Zayn. You wouldn't know it at all. He had his ribs completely taped up and proceeded to beat the holy hell out of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker for 85% of this match. I mean, we're talking suicide dives. We're talking 2v1s that he gets the advantage of. We're talking suplexing Bronson Reed, a 350-pound man with hurt ribs. We're talking all this nonsense.
He did do that moonsault thing, too.
He did the moonsault thing.
He landed on both of them with his ribs.
He's exploders to Braun Breaker. I mean, he's doing absolutely everything. I mean, it was over the top. I mean, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are supposed to be Seth Rollins' boys to get him to the promised land. They weren't looking at on this one, though. Yeah. Eventually, though, we would have when Sami explodes Braun into the corner or Bronson Reed into the corner, I think. And then Braun gets a clothesline in. Sami does eventually get a haluva kick onto Bronson Reed. And after the haluva kick, Braun Breaker breaks it up. And so they're all laying around. Sami pops up first and then gives Bronson Reed a suplex. And right when he pops up, you do get Braun Breaker hitting him with a nice spear. And this is nice because there's only one spear in this match. And he hits the injured ribs of Sami Zayn with the spear and gets the pin. 1, 2, 3 here. Boom, boom. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, they win this thing. And of course, after the match, that's not enough. So Penta's checking in on Sami. And I didn't mention Penta because he basically did nothing in this match. Basically nothing. Love Penta to death.
He didn't do a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, this was more the Sami Zayn, which makes it even weirder.
Yeah.
It's the Sami Zayn hurt ribs show.
I think Penta did like a double suicide dive with Sami to start the match.
Yeah, they did the flip over the top.
A couple Hurricane Ranas, but that was about it. Mm-hmm. And so Braun spears Penta, and so now Sami and Penta are getting whooped up on, and they're going to I think they were setting up Sami to get tsunami'd when Jey Uso, Yeet Man, he's here. He's got a chair. Smart. And he starts to he hits Braun Breaker a couple times on the outside, goes into the ring. He gives his little move, super kicks Bronson Reed, and then just takes a chair and throws it at his face, which was nice to see. And Bronson Reed spills out, and it's Jay, Sami, and Penta standing tall at the end of Raw tonight. We got Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker on the outside with Seth Rollins looking for a Plan B. Karrion Kross obviously attacked Penta earlier in the night, so maybe we got ourselves a 3v3 thing cooking. But at the end of this Raw, I'm going to go ahead and give this whole thing a drop. My whole thing is that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, the whole point is that they're supposed to be leading Seth Rollins and his doom over all of Raw, and I saw Sami Zayn beating the hell out of both of them the entire match. That took me out of it. Dropping it.
Yeah, you'd mentioned Kross attacking Penta across the text. Sami Zayn.
Whatever.
He's so mad he doesn't even know who's who. Yeah, they're talking about Plan B, which Seth Rollins could be getting an Ethan Page maybe added into the mix here. For the short term, though, it is 3v2 right now, so somebody's got to even the odds. Karrion Kross could do that. You know what? Paul Heyman, take off your suit, get in the ring. Put Paul Heyman out there. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter who they have as their third person. If Sami Zayn continues to do this, I mean, this was ridiculous. This was terrible. You have somebody like Sami Zayn who is supposed to be hurt, and I get at the end of the day, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed got the win, and you could say, well, they got the win, so we ended up getting there. To me, it was about how they got the win here. That's really kind of what's important, because Braun and Bronson can destroy anybody when their bells hasn't rung, right? When they're interfering, when they're backstage, when they're in promos. But as soon as the bell rings, they've really just, as you said, gotten nerfed. So it's kind of just like, well, do I care? Like, you guys are supposed to be really kind of destroying people, and I get it. They do it from time to time, but for them in the ring, I thought this could be a tag team when they first started. They could have challenged for tag titles, something like that. We wanted to see a dominant tag team, and we just haven't really gotten that so far.
Your job right now is to sell the crowd on this impending doom of Seth Rollins and his faction of these young guys that look unstoppable. And it's been a couple episodes of them standing tall and beating up on Jay and beating up on Sami by themselves. But it's like, now you're without Seth and you're facing an injured Sami Zayn. He's walking out there with taped up ribs, bro. And you guys are supposed to be able to be these dominant guys. And I watch a match where you just get killed for half of it, and then you get one spear and you get the win. So it's like, yes, we did get them winning, but I didn't feel like they could rule over the Raw brand or the WWE brand as a whole at all. Like, I don't get that impression at all, which is kind of what I think Seth Rollins' whole deal is. Now he's working on a plan B, so maybe that boosts him up. But in terms of the feeling of what I should have for the faction coming out of this Raw, I just don't have it right now. So I hope for more coming in the future for this tag team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a pretty easy solution. What do you have them do? Have them destroy people.
He's hurt, dude.
I feel like it's a very cut and dry. If anybody should have taken most of the offense or had most of the match tonight, it should have been Penta.
100%.
Sami Zayn was the hurt one, so Penta should have been in the match, and then Sami Zayn gets hit a couple of times, and then he's got to go out, something. No rib selling at all, and it was just weird. It doesn't help Penta's stock at all, really. I mean, Penta's just kind of there.
Yeah, and then the ice on the cake was like, I know he had a chair, but then Jay comes out and one by one takes out the group. So it's like tonight there was never a moment where like they just decided to just put their foot down and just be like, nope, screw all of you. I'm destroying all of you no matter what. Like, it would have been a great opportunity for this group without Seth Rollins to be able to handle these three guys. And then you could at least point to Sami Zayn's, ribs were injured or something like that. But it would have been a good them standing tall on the end of this Raw without Seth Rollins. It would have been like, oh, Seth's not even here and they're still taking care of business. Like, this feels like impending doom, and we didn't get that at all.
Yeah, and probably the last point here before we kind of wrap up is people will probably push back and say, well, maybe this is why Seth Rollins is working on a plan B, because he sees that.
Yes.
Okay, I understand that. That's fine.
Yes.
It plays into the story. But if that's the case, then why did we even throw these two guys into it? Because these two guys, when they were initially brought in, you're like, oh, hell yeah. And then you fast forward a little bit. If that is the plan B and he has other people come in to kind of do the job that Braun and Bronson can't, I would say that just kind of hurt their stock there.
And my rebuttal to even that is like, why do we need a plan B so early? Like this still feels brand new. Like it's not like we've seen a ton of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed teamwork together, especially in match, in like an actual match. Like, we've seen them show up and screw matches and stuff like that. But this is a match, man. This is what it all comes down to in wrestling, is when the bell rings. We haven't seen much of this. We haven't seen them be imposing together as an actual tag team. So why are we already needing a plan B? Like, that feels like something that needed to happen further down the line, after like a lot of people cracked the armor of this team who had been destroying the division for a long time. So I just feel like, it's a little bit too soon even for a plan B. I don't know. Complaining a little bit too much, probably. We more come from the side of like, we're very invested in the Seth Rollins story and we want them to be great and this faction to be phenomenal. So when this type of stuff happens, it feels like, dang, you missed an opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. That's basically it. Mm-hmm. We gave this episode 12 pops, 2 5 drops, though. So it was a great episode. We just didn't like the ending a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. A lot of good stuff. Evolution looks great. Got some more matches to Saturday Night Main Event, so we're cooking.
Yeah, really kind of checking things off with this Raw, and then obviously SmackDown is being taped right now as we record this.
Yeah.
Or Friday night.
Yeah. Make sure to stop by live streams for Brandon because I will be going to Germany for a couple weeks. So this man will be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So support him in every single way. It's going to be absolutely great. It's like we didn't miss a beat. And for everything else, it'll be at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It's got links to everything, including our new Reacts channel, where you can get all our live reactions to stuff like Night of Champions and Raw from tonight. So stop by there. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. I'll see you guys in a few weeks. He will be here. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.